There we go.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. This is our first ever 2024 volunteer fair. We're doing this virtually. We are very excited to be seeing you all. And under normal circumstances, we'd be kind of doing this in a high school gym in the old days, and all of us would have a booth set up, and I'd be up on the stage introducing everything. But we're here virtually, so we're gonna do this using our modern technology and give everybody a chance to be together virtually and kind of circulate. We're gonna spend about a half an hour walking through a little bit of an introduction, and then we're gonna use the remaining time to break out into individual breakout rooms for some of our committees and programs, so that just like having an individual booth in the gym, you can circulate, pop in and out of these breakout rooms as often or as many as you're interested in. And really the goal is just to have a casual opportunity to learn a bit more about what we're doing here at AIA Northern Virginia and get a chance to meet some of our leaders and people that are already involved, and hopefully get some new faces involved in our programs and activities. So a couple of quick introductions. My name is Braden Field. I am the current president for AIA Northern Virginia. And along with us are two of our staff members. I'll let Jacqueline and Lauren introduce themselves as well.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Jacqueline Toole. I'm the executive director. I guess I can't say I'm new anymore since I'm over 2 years here, but I am also a member, just like many of you, and look forward to getting to know you all much more as we progress through today.
Hi, everybody. Lauren Boswell. I probably have called or spoken already with many, if not all of you. So hi again. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with us.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Jacqueline. So why are we here? Hopefully some of you are joining us because we piqued your interest with this idea of a volunteer fair, but as hard as we tried to communicate what that is, it's really kind of open-ended. It's really our opportunity to engage with you and connect. So we're going to offer a little bit more, tell you a little more background about our organization and about AIA Northern Virginia, some of the benefits we offer, some of the programs we have. You can learn a little bit about more what we have going on. We're going to tell you a bit more information about some of our programs, our events, our committees, how we're structured, and how we do things throughout the year. Then it's really an opportunity, as I said, to have an informal conversation with some of the folks that are already engaged with our chapter. This is not meant to be a sign up kind of thing that you have to commit to. It's really just to learn more and explore some opportunities to get engaged. So the idea is that whether you have, an hour once a month or an hour once a year that you want to get involved, we have something that we can connect you with. We have plenty of opportunities and ways to give back, get involved, and get engaged. And we really want to connect you with some of those opportunities. So we're not going to ask for any kind of commitment. You're not signing up for anything. You're not going to be voluntold to do something, as we like to say. We're really just here to tell you a little bit more, answer questions, and learn more about you. It's really just a party and not a promise. So a lot of our volunteers are engaged because they knew someone and because they got connected through a personal connection. So that's our goal, is to create more personal connections and introduce you to more people. So you want to get involved and give back. So a little background on Northern Virginia. Our strategic plan was revamped about a year ago, and this is really guiding everything that we're doing as an organization. We're trying to evolve from more of an event program-based organization into more of an impact-driven organization. And the way we're going to do that is through these 5 goals that are part of our strategic plan. So all 5 of these show up in our various committees and programs and initiatives. And even today's event really hits all of these. We're trying to nurture and advance the future of the profession. We're evolving our organization and bringing more value to our members who we want to get more engaged and activated. That's you. We're strengthening our connections and getting people into stronger networks. And then we're celebrating the value of good design and what we do as architects. So again, all of these are going to show up in everything we do, and you'll see a bit more of that. More specifically, our vision and mission of our strategic plan I want to recap quickly. So our vision statement is to elevate the value of architecture in our community to advance the quality of the built environment. And then our mission statement is that we're activating the region's architecture community by supporting our members, advocating for the profession, amplifying the power of design. Along with that vision and mission, we've developed 5 core values that really kind of structure and guide our activities and our goals and what we do. And it helps us prioritize how to plan things. And so if this vision and mission and core values are resonating with you, that's really a very strong reason to get involved. So volunteering with us is not just about giving back. What do you get out of it too? You know, there's a lot of opportunity for you to put into it and get out what you want. What I always tell people is you can really get out of volunteering and being involved in AIA what you put into it. But more specifically, there's a lot of opportunity to improve your leadership and management skills. You know, we're here expanding our network, meeting more people. It's an opportunity to give back and serve our profession and improve it. It's a great opportunity to get connected with potential mentors or mentees. We have a lot of programs that are geared around that. It's a great opportunity for you to grow and develop personally and professionally as well. And as you can see right now, I'm doing a little bit of speaking, but there's plenty of opportunities for you to be able to present, engage, and hone some of those skills that you use in the office every day as well.
So kind of getting into what it looks like to volunteer. I know several of you, I recognize your names, your faces that you've already been volunteering with us, but kind of getting into the cycle. Today is kind of when you filled out the form and registered for today, it's kind of step 1. That's the biggest, hardest step. Today we're kind of doing that onboarding and training. And then hopefully we're going to be able to connect you and get you engaged in something that is of interest to you. As you get engaged and you spend time with that group or that passion of yours as you're working with the other volunteers, a lot of times that leads to recognition within the profession for your leadership skills or your contributions to the chapter. And then once you kind of move beyond becoming an expert in that particular area, you kind of look back and you think, okay, it's time for me to leave that legacy, train the next person coming in, and the cycle can start all over again, because then it a lot of times we'll pull from our volunteer leaders to be on the board, and there's always the opportunity to kind of move into a different path, a different committee, different direction. Once you kind of dip your toe in and go through the cycle once, it's really hard to kind of get out of there. We don't let you go too easily, and it becomes a little bit addictive. So as we mentioned throughout our communications with you, there are numerous different types of opportunities to connect based on your time commitment. Definitely not a one size fits all in this instance. We've got those opportunities that are monthly, that include board positions and some of our committees. We've got commitments that are more of on a quarterly basis, which would be something like our continuing education planning, which will be new this year, as well as some of our other committees only meet quarterly and aren't as high of a time commitment. And then we kind of get into the task groups, which are focused on completing something that's more short term, like 1 to 6 months of a commitment, depending on the event or the task. Planning our big social events or a particular program. Things pop up throughout the year, sometimes directed by the board, sometimes just need-based, depending on what's happening in the profession. And then our short-term commitments are these kind of, if you've only got a couple hours ad hoc to give, or just an hour here and there, we won't turn you away. I know a lot of times with architects and architectural designers, folks love and are very good at amateur photography. We would love to have you come to our events and take pictures. We would love your help with InDesign. Even if you're not an expert, as you can see from some of our graphics, we are not either. So we will welcome any of that help. It's a good training ground for that, as well as we're getting ready to launch a new website. We're going to be doing some massive data entry into that website. So if you're looking to kind of hone your WordPress skills, we've got opportunities there, as well as many others that we'll talk about later.
So what we wanted to do is take a second and kind of walk you through some examples of each of those different time commitments and give you a brief introduction to how we're structured and some of our committees. So one of the first things, really one of the most evolved positions in our chapter is serving on our board. Our board of directors is made up of 15 members, and each of them serve a 3-year term on a rotating cycle. And that's a monthly commitment for board meetings, but it's also kind of a much larger, more constant commitment to the chapter to come to events and be involved and help shape the strategy and organization as a whole. Of that board, 5 of our members serve as officers. So that's our secretary, treasurer, president-elect, president, and past president are on our executive committee. And then we also have 2 at-large AIA Virginia director positions that serve 2-year terms. And all of these are elected positions. So typically those are people who have been involved in some capacity with the chapter and are a little familiar. But just wanted to kind of highlight that first piece. So the next piece at that monthly commitment level is our committees. And what we wanted to do is give a chance for each of our committee leaders to give you a brief kind of introduction to what they do and a bit of an overview so that everybody has the benefit of seeing everything that's available. And then you can kind of choose who to connect with and follow up with. So we're going to start with our Committee on Architecture for Education, CAE. And I think Miriam is here to speak to that.
Yeah, hi everyone. Firstly, thank you for joining us for the virtual volunteer fair. I'm Mariam Rahman. I'm part of the AIA Nova Committee on Architecture for Education, which is CAE for short. So essentially, CAE is a forum for architects, educators, civic leaders that promote the exchange of ideas, best practices, and resources around learning environment design. And through this platform, basically, we hope to enhance knowledge around architecture, pedagogy, equity, well-being, and safety in our schools. The CAE is concerned with the quality and design of all types of educational, cultural, and recreational facilities. As we all know, education facilities are central to the vitality of neighborhoods and cities across America. And as an extension of our work, we seek to positively contribute to communities throughout Virginia, Maryland, and DC. We're really excited to be in our 4th year of the AIA Nova CAE. It's a local chapter of the National CAE. There are AICAEs in nearby, like in DC and Baltimore, and we frequently collaborate with them in order to come up with some of our programming and some of our events. And we essentially want to serve as a resource for all of Virginia. We have monthly member meetings on the 3rd Thursday of every month at noon, where we try to spotlight firms and highlight educational projects in the area. We've recently also started collaborating with firms to talk about topics related to architecture for education. So it's always like when you come to our monthly meetings, you kind of either get to learn about a new and upcoming project, which is exciting, or are now hopefully, we're also collaborating with firms and talk about best practices and things like that. So it's a good, really quick sort of learning opportunity as well. And throughout the year, we have exciting events sort of planned out, whether it's these highlights or building tours. And we'd love for you guys to join the committee, attend the meetings, get involved in any of the events, whether it's the planning or the activities, we'd like to have you guys join us.
Great, thanks, Miriam. So if that's something you're interested, please feel free to join that breakout room when we get there. Next up, Schools Connections, Jess and Sonia.
Good evening. Thanks everybody for coming again. I'm Jess Samganari with the School Connections Committee, and really we connect with schools in the Nova and the greater DMV area. We mainly collaborate with the Washington Alexandria Architecture Center, or the WAC, in Old Town Alexandria, and their AIS program. And we end up coming up with events and organizing events to connect with the students and provide them with a greater network once they graduate and kind of get a feel for what being an architect is like, what different routes you can take. And some of those events that we organize are panel discussions, portfolio reviews, and our big event is the ISDC, the Interschool Design Competition. So we're trying to pave a better future for students down the line who are going into architecture.
Thanks, Jess. So up next is our Young Architects Forum, or sorry, Women in Architecture. Or did we skip? We skipped YAF. Yep.
Sorry.
Let's go back to YAF for
Okay.
for Alex and Liz.
Can you hear me? Working. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex, co-chair of YAF. I think Liz is here, and we've got Bronwyn and Ava. So great committee. Welcome. YAF is all about providing a platform for young professionals in the field where we connect, share ideas, and engage in meaningful discussions and talk about the future of architecture. And through a range of initiatives, together we're going to promote fellowship, growth, and of course, community impact. Upcoming, we've got a lot of programs to look forward to. Together, we support members working on licensure through exam solidarity coffees. So if you need a place to complain or just to have new study material, that's the place you should come. We've got an award-winning ARE prep course that we help support. And then of course, the AIA Nova YAF architecture registration exam. To connect and engage in the community, we have monthly social hours. We do an annual rooftop yoga, which is a highlight, definitely come. And then urban sketch walks to foster connections within the design community. And then for mentorship, we have our annual mentorship golf tournament at Topgolf. So beginners are welcome. It's a great place to learn how to golf, kind of learn how to connect on a golf course, but also meet some of the principals who are starting to shape the industry. And then our monthly Dinner with an Architect series, where we invite some of the local star architects, people who are definitely shaping the industry, and have an intimate discussion in a dinner. You can ask any questions and get to know them better. And I'll hand it over to Bronwyn, who can talk a little bit more about what we're looking for in the next year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bronwyn Red. I'm the vice chair for YAF. And we're specifically maybe looking for, kind of similar to what Jacqueline said, maybe 1 to 2 people who could help us with graphics for marketing purposes, to communicate, about our events, and maybe a social media person to help us with, some of our social media platforms, and maybe like Instagram, and maybe helping with the new website if we have a page there, and then also a treasurer to help us maybe keep track of some of our funding receipts, and also just focusing on documentation. So those are primarily what we're looking for, but we're also welcoming anyone who just wants to engage with us. We're always looking for new ideas, and all are welcome.
Awesome. Thanks, Bronwyn. Thanks, Alex. So Sunny is here for Women in Architecture.
Hi, thanks for coming. I'm Sunny Carroll. Rebecca Meyer and I are this year's co-chair for the Women in Architecture Committee. Rebecca got stuck in a meeting, so I apologize. She'll be here shortly. The WIA committee was founded in 1989. Both Rebecca and I have been involved for the last 3 to 4 years. We meet the first Monday of each month. Most meetings are virtual, but we do have 3 meetings a year, which are in-person, hybrid. We have a potluck, and it takes place at different firms. At each meeting, there's a spotlight presentation by an individual to discuss their background, career, and showcase their accomplishments. It provides a unique opportunity to get to know different members. This year, the Spotlight series is actually involves presentations by different women from WIA committees in other states, which we're extremely excited about. We hold a number of events each month, which provides opportunities for members to get together socially. This includes potluck lunches throughout the DMV area, construction tours, happy hours, a No Shame book club, a lecture series, and Jedi events. We also have an end of the year party to celebrate the holidays. This year, we're looking for help for planning some events in the fall. More specifically, we need assistance with our lecture series, and we're also looking for a firm to host a construction tour of one of their projects. We'd love to have you join us, and if you're interested, feel free to talk to me or Rebecca when she comes. Thank you.
Thanks, Sunny. So moving on to Design Awards, Jay Paul.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm co-chair of the Design Awards along with Roland Lemke. He had commitments from client meetings today, but wanted to discuss with you the possibilities that you could interact with us during the year. It's basically now a year-long design committee. We've started actually in December, starting to look for venues for the event that we have every year. The purpose of these venues is to show off all of the design excellence that our local chapter members have. And we do that by going around the country and looking to other chapters' jurors to review our projects and to award us the various awards of excellence and merit. We have 7 categories that we have our members submit to. And so it's a very interesting process. For our next slide. We typically meet once a month, and it can be towards the first of each month. And it's usually a Zoom call or a Teams call from 10 a.m. to 11. So we try to keep it short and sweet. We have a lot of different things to do, including graphics, media, the organization of the actual submittals, the organization of the jury sessions, and then the creation of the event. So we need to help with all of those, and especially as we come to the actual event location, we need lots of hands-on people to do various things to pull off these wonderful design awards. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Paul. Jay Paul. Sorry. Up next is Crayon, Josh.
I am Josh McKendrick. I'm the chair of the Custom Residential Architect Network, which actually is a tri-chapter committee with DC and Potomac Valley. So we're just really more of a resource for any residential architects who want to join and network and work on continuing education or do house tours. We do event a month, and because we're tri-chapter, the Northern Virginia chapter does one event every quarter. So we plan one out and then we attend the other events planned by the other chapters. But really, so we're open to anybody who does custom residential or even just residential architecture and is looking to network and connect with other architects.
Thanks, Josh. So Grace, tell us a little bit about construction.
Hello, everyone. This is Grace again. I'm a co-chair of the construction committee. I don't think Jay Scratch is here, but so I'm gonna do it myself. And so the construction is a once a year event. The event normally is in early September, and we start planning the event in early spring, like February, March, and we start like fundraising and call all the teams and organize the the online website. I mean, not organizing, but communicating with the food bank and set up website and help all the team with their design. And then in the summertime, like July, they will finalize their design and send in the check from the donations from different firms. And then in September, we just have the one weekend to build all the projects together. And last year we had 8 firms join the event. In the previous years, sometimes we have 10 to 13 firms join, and we're looking to have more firms in the future years. And in terms of the helps, we're looking for maybe a little bit help on the graphic, a couple of hours at the beginning, maybe during the event. And during the event days, we're looking for help to like communicate with the food bank, communicate between the different captains, different teams, and just very concentrated on the short periods of time. So I think it's a good opportunity if you just want to volunteer for a couple of days a year. You don't have to do it all year round. And we don't normally have meetings after the event, maybe once or twice during the low season. So it's very just concentrated on the few months before the event.
Great. Thanks, Grace.
All right, so in addition to the committees you just heard from, we have a few other committees who are in search of some leadership. Our Historic Resources Committee, our Committee on the Environment, Architecture Labs, and Small Firm Roundtable currently have a vacancy for the chair, and they're not very active right now. So if those are interested, if any of you are interested in those areas, please let us know. We'd be happy to get you plugged in. As far as our fellows and legislative and government affairs groups, we do have active committees on both of those topics. Unfortunately, they were not able to join us today, but we can get you in touch and get you some more information. Just a little bit more about fellows. I believe they're meeting around quarterly. Their main focus is to help take some of our chapter members that are eligible for fellowship and who are interested through the process. It can be, it's quite intense, and it's pretty much a year-long effort, as well as I believe they're going to start having a few more social activities with the fellows in Northern Virginia coming up this year. Historic Resources. We just had our chair move away. She was very active in pulling together a lot of resources, which you'll get to see once we publish our new website next month. In addition, a lot of times this group focuses on pulling together some tours specifically during Architecture Month that include the public. So historic walking tours of Old Town Alexandria, some of the local historic sites. And then in addition, we also have worked with some of the historic resource commissions to put on webinars. The Committee on the Environment, again, this is a committee that is currently looking for new leadership. We do have a very active code committee at the state level, and right now the connection there, we're kind of relying on them for a lot of the content that's being provided via webinar series. And looking forward to what they have planned for this year. But again, let us know if you're interested in spearheading that for us locally. And then again, some of the additional committees, the legislative affairs. We just installed a new chair recently, and he is ready to roll at gangbusters, doing a lot of research on what the different jurisdictions around Northern Virginia are looking for. So once we're able to kind of harness those resources and get them out there, I think that group is going to be producing a lot of helpful information. Small Firm Roundtable has been vacant for a little while, but again, anybody interested, please let us know. And then Architecture Lab Committee, this is more of our K-12 programming. Again, looking for someone to head up that initiative if you're interested. And then as far as some other activities that we're looking for that don't have as big of the monthly commitment, our ARE prep series. We have a very intense and rigorous series of courses that we offer the first half of the year. We coordinate the instructors as well as virtual classes, and we're always looking for support and assistance with that. Continuing education planning group is going to be new this year. We would love some folks to serve in an advisory role to help plan and identify those unique programs that would be of interest and are current in our area that would get folks to turn out and engage with us through different workshops and tours. And then the fun stuff, the social event planning, our autumn social, our spring social, and several of the happy hours and different events in between. If that's your thing, let us know. And I'm going to skip through this because I kind of did just talk about this. I forgot we had these. And again, the 3 to 6 month task groups. Like I said, there's the ARE prep, but there's also Architecture Month. We would probably be looking for somebody around 3 months leading up to the event to help coordinate different events throughout the month of April when we recognize and celebrate Architecture Month with a series of tours, kids activities, different lecture series, all targeting and hopefully focusing on the public and our Northern Virginia communities, educating them on the value of the architect. And then also our 360 mentoring program, which should be kicking off later this year. I believe the planning group is looking for some folks to help plan this next session. And we did talk about the task-based photography, task-based opportunities. Again, this is just a little bit more of a robust list, but one thing I did want to point out here that we didn't talk about earlier, if your firm has a web and IT department, we would love for an hour or two of their time periodically. The chapter has an outside consultant, but sometimes there are things that the consultant just doesn't have the time and the speed that we need. So we're always looking for support there in case anybody in your firm would be willing to lend a hand. And again, a lot of that day of event or set up or tear down are, as you heard from a lot of our committees, a big need that we have throughout the year.
So you've heard a lot about AIA Northern Virginia, but it's important to remember that AIA is a tiered organization. So there is a national level, and we also have the great benefit of a very active and beneficial state level. So AIA Virginia, we wanted to include them in tonight's event, and we have a few representatives joining us from AIA Virginia that are going to tell us about some opportunities and things they have going on. So I'll turn it over to Paul, Kelly, and Megan.
Thanks, Braden. Appreciate your efforts in bringing us along, and also to Megan's efforts for that. I'm Kelly Callahan, and I'm serving as president of AIA Virginia in 2024. And on the call today is President-elect Megan Jancy, and also our Executive Vice President, Paul Battaglia. So I'm going to just quickly take a couple of minutes to talk with you about what we're doing and opportunities that you can volunteer for. My presidential platform, if you will, other than helping to execute the 5 goals that we've identified as a board, and of course to execute the vision and mission of AIA Virginia, is really around retaining diversity in our profession. There's a lot of efforts that are going into, and they're great efforts going into building the pipeline. And we see a lot of diversity coming out of our architectural graduate programs. But what we see is that as people get older and more mature, that the diversity really drops in terms of representation and leadership in our profession. And so my passion is really, and from a business owner's perspective, is around improving firm culture and compensation. And my aim is to really seek out and find the ways that each of you are doing that well in your firms, and to celebrate that and share that and then elevate that across the state. So I want to hear your stories and your ideas on how your firms are making improvements in culture and compensation, and your successes around keeping that diversity in our profession. We met recently as a board. We had 2 days together, and we looked at our mission and our vision, and we looked at specifically in the next year, what as a group are we best honed to tackle, and what's most important to focus our efforts on in the next year. And we came up with these 5 points, and we dug into some ways that we can specifically do that. But number 1 is to promote and advance the value of architecture and architects across the state. Number 2 is to increase access to our profession. Number 3 is to build connections, and that has to do with what we're doing right now, which is building better connections between the state and the local chapters, but also building connections through other industries that support what we do. So with builders and engineers. And attracting and retaining diversity, which I just spoke about, and then leading the change. So we talked about a lot of things that are happening on the horizon, and we really don't want to be reactive to those. We want to be proactively recognizing that change, seeking out that change, and leading that change. So one of the ways that we're really trying to build better connections is by planning town halls across the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that means that folks from the state leadership really want to be in person together with each of the local components over the course of this year. And so we're actively seeking out dates and coordinating with your leadership in order to basically have a town hall, just some time together. And I also want to just do a quick promo for the Design Forum, which is April 5th and 6th. That's a Friday and Saturday. And that's happening at the Institute for Contemporary Art at VCU in Richmond. Would love to see you all there. I'm hoping that Paul will come off of mute and
I'm off of mute.
share. There you are. I'm going to hand it off to you, Paul.
Thank you, President Callahan. Yeah, so hello, everyone. Thanks for having us. A word about advocacy, right? So at the state level component, we do involve ourselves in advocacy, both at regulatory, legislative, and otherwise. And so we advocate and lobby on your behalf at the federal level, but especially at the state level. We do have a lobbyist on retainer, Patrick Cushing. I myself am also a lobbyist. And we've been down at the General Assembly this time of year, monitoring, supporting, opposing, whatever is the proper disposition for us to take about any of the bills in the General Assembly on your behalf. You know, the asks that are here, please. So, you know, amongst our political agency, perhaps the highest and most effective is to vote. So I would encourage you to be registered to vote and to vote, you know, to actually exercise that and exercise that right and establish that voting record. If you could contribute to our political action committee, we do have one at the state level. That would be fantastic. That's very helpful for us. And then please let us know about regulatory, legislative, or procurement issues. Bring those to our attention so that we can develop a plan to address those. Regulatory could be something in the code. Legislative could be something with law, could pertain to your business or your practice. And then procurement issues, you know, there are people who seem not to want to that want to compete our work on the basis of fee rather than qualification-based selection. So let us know about that. And on your behalf, we can send an anonymous letter. It doesn't come from you. It comes from AIA Virginia that says something in this RFP seems to run afoul of the Virginia procurement law. You might need to take a look at it. We're happy to look at that, see if it warrants such a letter, and then send it on your behalf. And then we need people to come forward with their subject matter expertise and their experiences with the issues for which we're lobbying, you know, because we need to be able to connect elected officials to their constituents who can share with them both expertise or experience on the issues. And then you certainly could consider joining any of our efforts. We do have our councils and committees there as a website, and then the link to the PAC. Thank you so much.
All right, some opportunities. We're getting ready to get to the good stuff of doing our breakouts, but it's just some quick housekeeping. If you aren't receiving our newsletters, feel free to send us an email at the email address provided and let us know, and we'll get you signed up. And also, I know Braden said there's absolutely no requirement for commitment while you're on here. However, if you are interested and ready to make that commitment, we will not turn you away if you want to do it today. So if Braden, if you can grab that link and pop it in the chat, just because I can't from my screen. This is a sign-up sheet with a lot of those task-based, task-oriented, and more concentrated short-term tasks. There are specifics laid out in there. If after today's volunteer fair you want to get signed up, we would be more than happy to welcome you, and we will reach out once we get your contact information. And again, feel free to just send an email with any questions. And I know the list, you'll see that there's one line per task. If somebody beats you to it, we will not turn away the second volunteer. So please feel free to add a line and put your information in there too. So on to the good stuff. Just a little bit of direction before we get into the breakouts. So all the committee members you heard from and some of our leadership will be in different breakout rooms. And they will be there to answer your questions, talk a little bit more in depth about the different opportunities. So in order to do that, these are the instructions. What you're going to do is look at your toolbar at the bottom of the screen, click on the three dots that say more. You'll click on the area that says breakout room, and you'll see a list of different breakout rooms based on those committees and categories of folks that are present. Do not click join yet, or else you're going to get zipped out of here and you're not going to hear the rest of it. Once you're ready, go ahead and hit join. You'll be put into that room. Those leaders will meet you there. And then when you're ready to back out of that room, hit leave breakout room or return to main session. And then you can choose to either be done for the day, or you can go explore into another breakout room and hear some more about some other things that we have, other opportunities we have. Feel free to move in and out depending on your interest area. Once we kind of see that folks are stopping the kind of moving around business, we will pull everybody back, kind of have some final remarks, let you know about some upcoming events. And that's pretty much it. Have a good fair, everybody.
Oh my.
Are you recording us again?
Apparently it moves wherever I move.
Hi, Michelle.